Hey everyone, this is Ms. Moffat from across the Litiverse, and I'm celebrating my birthday in the most bookish way possible. Check it out. Yes, the rumors are true, it's my birthday. And what better way to celebrate than turning the occasion into an excuse to talk about books. I am a booktuber after all, so it seems appropriate. Since I turned 31 this year, I thought I'd share 31 bookish bits about me, so let's get started. I got my first library card when I was 5. It's still the library card I use today, and it still has my 5-year-old signature on it. I became a reader because of my library's summer reading program. I got a frog stamp every time I read 5 books. I still wish I got frog stamps for reading books. When I was 6, I got the chicken pox, and my dad bought me 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish to help me feel better, and I read it the entire week. The first narrative trope I ever loved was the "and it was all a dream." Or was it ending? It is all because of a book called The Seventh Princess. I think The Seventh Princess is also the reason I still love portal fantasies to this day. I started collecting the Redwall series because the backs of all the books said, "Not since Roald Dahl have children filled their shelves so compulsively." I was 8 or 9 and I took that quote to heart. And I do love Redwall, just to be clear. I did my first book report in grade 4 and I read Island of the Blue Dolphins. It was the first homework assignment I was ecstatic to do. My most read book of all time is the novel adaptation of the movie The Phantom. Star Rangers by Andre Norton was the first sci-fi book I ever read. I also kind of stole this copy from my middle school library. The first graphic novel I read was Mouse. I was 10 years old and my library only had 3 graphic novels at the time. When I was 13, my cousin Shauna and I wrote MASH fan fiction. We even had Mary Sue characters before we knew what Mary Sues were. My friend Chantel is my book soulmate. She recommended Fight Club to me when I was 17 and I will trust her with my TBR pile any day. Also in high school, my friend Marissa and I used to write scripts over MSN Messenger. I printed them off one year for her birthday and it turns out we wrote around 300 pages, so yes, we wrote a book. Over my career, I worked at a school library, I interned at a publishing house, I worked at a major chain bookstore, and now I work at an independent comic book store, so I'd say I found my calling at this point. One of my favorite parts about my job is recommending books to teens. I love sharing books with readers, but I especially love getting to hand down comics and manga to the next generation. And it's surreal to think I'm helping to build their taste in books too. Despite the fact that I love books, I rarely get books as gifts, and I think that has to do with people being worried that I've read them already. When I plan vacations, my priorities are local bookstores, prominent libraries, tea stores, and then everything else. My favorite time and place to read is out in the backyard during the summer, in a lounge chair, in the shade of a tree. Perfection. I prefer waiting for an entire book series to come out before I start reading it. I'm just super impatient like that apparently. When I visit someone's house for the first time, I look for their books and then decide if we could be in a book club together. If I could live in a book, I would live at the Cirque des Rêves in the Night Circus by Aaron Morgenstern. The oldest book I own is Parley's Balloon Travels, which was published in the late 1800s. I've left a link to the online version in case you were interested in reading it. And I can promise monocles galore. On the first warm day of spring, I'm always overwhelmed by the need to reread The Wind in the Willows. My not so guilty pleasure is novelization spin-offs of popular TV series. I even filmed a review for the supernatural book Fresh Meat in a Dean Winchester cosplay. Yeah. When I read the book House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski, I had to sleep with the lights on for 2 nights in a row. That book is worth the sleeplessness. I don't often remember concrete details about books, but my impressions about books are weirdly accurate. I can reread books and still be largely surprised, which is probably why I like rereading books so much. One of the most life-changing books for me was probably Networking for People Who Hate Networking by Devra Zach. I'm a proud introvert and I still use tips that I picked up from this book in social situations. My family owns a first edition of Hugh MacLennan's Two Solitudes. My grandma gave it to her father for Christmas the year it came out. This book is the definition of Canadian literature and we have a first edition. I have a weirdly easy time getting rid of books. I like the idea of passing on a great story to another reader and I only keep the books I have reread or I will reread. Despite the fact that I work at a bookstore, I will always want to visit another bookstore. And last, my friends have described me as their personal book curator, and I think that's probably been the greatest compliment I've ever received. And now I'm off to celebrate my birthday. As always, thank you for watching and feel free to hit subscribe for more great videos from across the Litiverse. On that note, signing off.